Breaking news out of Urbana Township. Police are investigating a shooting. Good evening, I'm Jen Lask. They were called out to the scene around 8:30 this evening, and our Andy Olson was there. So, Andy, can you tell us a bit about what you were able to find out?
Yeah, Jen, one of the sheriff's deputies who was there did tell me that one person was shot. Now, where this was a location, this happened near East High Street in Brady Lane. The sheriff's office had the intersection blocked off in the front yard of a home there, surrounded by police tape. They were able to tell me that they don't believe that the injury was life-threatening. The person who was shot was taken to the hospital, and right now they're still searching for the person who shot them. We'll bring you the latest updates as we learn them. But for now, live in the newsroom, Andy Olson, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, thank you, Andy. Please keep us updated. And it's a yearly event with a little more meaning in 2020. As parents are faced with tough decisions for going back to school, one store is giving them a helping hand. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Cook shares how.
Parents already have a lot to think about when it comes to getting their kids ready for the school year. Well, Team Wireless is helping kids out.
That's a pretty color. Matches your shirt, too.
Team Wireless hosted Backpacks for Kids, giving away bags filled with school supplies.
A lot of parents might have lost their job with COVID hitting, so this is going to be a really big help for them, not having to worry about getting that school supplies for their child and being able to have them learn efficiently while they're at school.
Bags included up to $40 worth of school supplies, such as notebooks, pencils, erasers, and crayons. One parent says times are tough, and this is just what she needed.
It just takes a lot of the pressure off. This year's been especially challenging for us all, and it's just nice to know that I now don't have to worry about going to Walmart and picking up a backpack and finding one that she likes, and it takes away some of the financial burden of having to, purchase all these items.
Kids were able to pick out a bag in their favorite color.
You want to get the teal one? That's my favorite color, too.
Verizon also gave away supplies at its Mahomet and Urbana locations. In Champaign, I'm Gabrielle Cook, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Verizon only does this event once a year each August, but you're able to donate $4 throughout the year to help provide a backpack. There was also a giveaway in Decatur. The YMCA held its annual backpack attack, but it looks a little different this year. It was a drive-through event instead. Backpacks were filled with grade-specific school supplies geared towards kindergarten through 6th grade. Volunteers handed out roughly 2,000 backpacks, and DPS was also there helping to register students. The district plans to start the year virtually. After a summer of canceled events, one park district is finally reopening its facilities today. The Urbana Park District will now offer secured park pavilion rentals, and the parks won't be available to rent for races or walks. Also, you're going to want to bring some water bottles for that because you won't be able to use the fountains, and same goes for the restrooms. Park District leaders say they're excited to move forward.
We're really happy to be back opening up and being ready to serve the public again. We've missed the community a lot, and we're very glad to be back open again.
The district kept kids busy this summer with boredom buster bags, and they also put together health and wellness videos. If you enter any of the indoor spaces, you're going to need a mask, and to see each of the facilities' guidelines, head to WCIA.com. The Illinois Department of Public Health is announcing more than 1,600 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Illinois. That includes 8 additional confirmed deaths. In total, there are more than 180,000 cases in the state, including 7,503 deaths. The preliminary 7-day statewide positivity rate, 3.9%. And health officials say 11 counties are now considered to be at a warning level for the virus. This includes Cass and Sangamon County. Officials say the counties are seeing outbreaks associated with business operations and high-risk activities such as graduation ceremonies, parties, and big sporting events. They also say many people in the communities in these counties aren't wearing face masks. President Trump is signaling interest in extending some type of weekly economic lifeline to help millions of unemployed Americans. The softening of the White House and Republican positions follows weeks of opposition to offering what they described as a reward to people not going to work, and as negotiations resume today on another coronavirus relief package. The movement comes as Congress allowed the program that provides a $600 weekly supplement to unemployment benefits to expire overnight. Nicole Killian has the latest from the White House.
President Trump returned from Florida Friday night just as unemployment benefits for up to 30 million Americans ran out with no immediate extension from Congress.
The Democrats do not care about the people of our country. They don't want to do what you should be doing for the people of our country, whether it's unemployment or anything else.
President Trump pinned the blame on Democrats after the White House said it put several proposals on the table.
We don't have shared values. That's just the way it is. So it's not bickering. It's standing our ground.
Democrats want to keep the $600 weekly unemployment payment through next January. Republicans and the White House have offered a shorter-term extension at a reduced rate.
So we call on Capitol Hill to get serious about their negotiations. The president is serious about the negotiations. We're willing to engage.
The Senate adjourned for the weekend while the House canceled its August recess until a deal is reached on a broader coronavirus rescue package.
Meanwhile, the executive director of the Champaign County Housing Authority is speaking with government leaders. They say the pandemic might have resulted in someone losing their job and putting them behind on rent. They're looking into whether federal money can help cover delinquent rent for those in public housing. And that's also why Champaign-Urbana Public Health District Administrator is working on a new grant. Julie Pride says it's aimed at getting a lot of money into the hands of community organizations.
But basically, it's getting money out to the communities that need it, and for them to figure out what they need to do to prevent this. And sometimes that's just having extra things for people to do. Sometimes it's internet, so who knows.
Pride says ensuring people have adequate supplies, things to do, and education about the virus is just as important as making sure people have personal protective equipment. Leaders also talked about the importance of housing, and if people become homeless, it's a chance to spread the virus further. In a nod to that fact, Governor Pritzker recently extended the state's ban on evictions. Nearly 40,000 veterans have tested positive for COVID-19 around the country since March, and more than 2,000 have died. But the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the VA says one of the upsides of the upheaval in a pandemic, more veterans are seeing their doctor remotely. When VA hospitals were forced to close down many outpatient services, they ramped up telehealth visits by more than 1,000%.
So we have actually expanded VA's footprint, particularly in rural and tribal America. And in so doing, we've shown a way forward for the future of mental health care. We're actually reaching more people now than we did before the epidemic.
President Trump put Secretary Robert Wilkie in charge of reducing wait times at VA hospitals. Wilkie joins Capitol Connection this Sunday morning at 10:30 to discuss that effort and to explain how the VA is protecting veterans from the coronavirus. Also on Capitol Connection tomorrow, Speaker Madigan faces a growing number of calls to resign within his own party. This as Madigan insists he never passed legislation with improper motives, despite ComEd confessing to bribing his inner circle. The party leader currently sits on roughly $20 million worth in campaign finances, which could weigh heavily on Democrats in swing districts. Several House Dems have told WCIA Madigan is placing personal calls to gauge their support for him. Well, one person he won't find any from, State Rep Stephanie Kifowit, who is calling on him to step down immediately.
This time around, I am fortunate to not have an opponent. I just filed, as we all did, and I don't have a lot of money in my account, and that does weigh heavily, and that is another ethics subject we need to broach, is whether we will continue to allow somebody to be the chairman of the Democratic Party of Illinois in addition to Speaker of the House, and look at those potential conflicts and where it can be used to solidify or to entrench bad behavior.
At least 5 House Democrats and a total of 8 in the state legislature are now publicly calling for him to step down in the wake of the ComEd scandal. Governor J.B. Pritzker wants to roll out a new plan for the state's juvenile justice system. Under the 21st Century Illinois Transformative Model, Pritzker says the system would be, quote, completely overhauled within the next 4 years, and that right now the system that currently stands is creating a culture of instability and violence.
And in yet another example of systemic discrimination, the criminal justice system sends a disproportionate number of young people of color into the system. Black children, who make up just 15% of Illinois' total youth population, make up more than 70% of the kids in DJJ facilities.
Pritzker's plan includes transitioning kids to smaller therapeutic centers, investing in community support and intervention services, and increasing victim services in areas that are largely impacted by violence. Amelia, we've got some cooler weather coming on the way. It might feel a little bit like fall, right?
Just like today, those temperatures today were in the low 70s, but this next week, temperatures are actually going to be in the lows into the 50s. So a very cool week ahead, followed by some more storms. I'll be tracking all those storms right after this.